So my name is Robin, certified nutrition specialist, and we're going to talk about one simple change, and we're going to reveal some secrets about that. So I am a nutritionist. That is what I do by profession, and this is my 12th year. And I would tell you that when I first started, I didn't see what I see now in terms of the health challenges. And when I started, I was helping people with nutrition plans, and I realized over time what is most effective with people. So I'm going to share with you what I know from a nutrition standpoint and actually show you how we got to where we are today. So there are two startling trends in the world today. Actually, I'm not going to even talk about the big elephant in the room. So I'm going to act like that's not happening. So we're going to talk about the two startling trends that have been for a long time. One of them is that our environment is full of toxins, and there's nothing you can do about that. You have to breathe, and you breathe in toxins. The other challenge that we face is that our food quality continues to decline. And let me paint this picture for you. I mean, the people must eat, right? So back in the day, way back in the day, maybe mom was cooking, but as time went on, food changed. It became more processed, more chemically altered, and it's supply and demand. There's more people in the country, and so it's like we need our food quick, fast. And food is bigger. Y'all remember, I don't know if 7-Eleven is all over the country, but Big Gulps used to be tiny, and now they're huge. If you go somewhere and you ask for a small drink, you might say, I said a small drink, but they're like, oh, that is the small, but it's huge. So things are really different. We're eating on the go, and as a result, there's some challenges that we face. But the food in general, let me just share with you that the food that you eat today is not the food that you or your grandparents ate. And an example with chickens. Now, I know some of you are vegan and vegetarian and all kinds of dietary habits, but I just want to paint this picture for you. So chickens take by nature 78 days to be ready for you to consume, right? But we don't have time for that, right? So people are wanting their meat and their beef and everything, which is fine. But instead of it taking 78 days, which is through nature, the food scientists are able to produce a chicken in 48 days. Now, how is that possible? That's like a baby needing to take 9 or 10 months, and now you're making the baby coming out at 7 months. You have to put in the incubator. You have to do things so that the baby can develop. Same thing with the chickens. In order for them to develop in 48 days, as opposed to 78, you're putting in hormones and all of those things. Whatever you're putting into the chicken, when we consume it, that is what we are getting into our bodies. And our bodies don't always know how to deal with that. Now, I would tell you that the healthiest food source is from fruits and vegetables, except that the soil generally that it is grown in is depleted of nutrition, that over time there's less and less vitamins and minerals in our agriculture. And there's a thing that started to happen in the 1990s. GMOs hit the stores, GMOs being genetically modified organisms. And they were designed to be resistant to weeds and herbicides and all of those things so that food could get to us faster, undamaged, right? But those GMO seeds tamper with nature. And also when we are eating foods that are GMO produced, sometimes it doesn't work with our body and our digestive system. And that's sort of happening in the 90s. And if you look at it, from the 90s until today, a lot of illnesses and diseases have skyrocketed. The direct correlation between what we're eating and what we're not eating and what's going on. This is no revelation to most of you, but we are a nation that is struggling with obesity and sugar consumption and fatty foods and processed foods because they taste good and are, they're quick and they're easy. But again, we are challenged by that. So there is a link between the processed foods and the chemicals and the health. So you see more heart disease and stroke, cancer, y'all. When I tell you, when I started 12 years ago, I didn't see the level of cancer, especially breast cancer in women that I see now. I was talking to one of my doctor friends and they were saying 1 in 2 or 1 in 3 people will get cancer in our lifetime. And my parents, both of them, have had cancer. And I'm sure that you all know people who have had cancer. It's like out of control. Respiratory diseases, asthma, COPD, diabetes, Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's was not we heard of it, but now we're hearing about people with Alzheimer's that are younger, kidney disease, autism. Now, that's growing by 10% a year. All of you, I'm sure, know someone who has a child that has autism. What is going on? Here's something else. When I worked with clients, I would say very few had an autoimmune disorder. So now we have so many people that I see are dealing with lupus or MS, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, celiac disease, thyroid abnormalities, Crohn's disease, eczema. That wasn't like a thing before. And then anxiety, which I know because the world is a challenge. I find so many people that are on medications. Constipation is a challenge because the food that we have doesn't have the fiber in it so that we can flow. And then I'm seeing all of these food allergies and intolerances. Y'all remember when everybody could eat peanuts? Now you have to have an EpiPen. And it's a thing. So many allergies. And then I want to speak on infertility. When I was growing up, my mom just told me, don't do that thing, right? Or you'll have a baby. And now I find that a lot of couples are challenged with not being able to have a baby. What is going on? Seriously. So researchers investigated the correlation between autoimmune and the additives in the food and what's going on. And they found a correlation that the food additives common in processed foods damage the intestinal lining and all of that, and it throws off our immune system and brings about all of these autoimmunes and challenges that we don't want. I feel like I'm telling you a lot of bad news, right? Because you gotta eat. I always say, like, if a person is challenged with like an alcoholic, right? It's like you don't have to go to the bar, but with food, if you're challenged with, you've got to eat. Food will either kill you or keep you alive. I feel like I painted a picture for you, but then I want to give you some hope, right? Because I know you have to eat, and then the question is, what do I do? And so what I want to be clear is what I'm not telling you to do is I'm not telling you not to eat anything. You can eat anything that you eat. What I'm asking you is to add to what you're eating. And what you're adding to, my recommendation is more plant foods. No, I'm not trying to make you vegan. No, I don't, I'm not trying to say be a vegetarian. What I'm saying is to the food that you're eating now, add more plants. Why? So the phytochemicals are the compounds that are found in your plants. Fruits, vegetables, grains, beans, and other plants. That is your medicine. I kid you not. If you don't get the micronutrients from the fruits and vegetables enough, then it virtually guarantees disease. I didn't make that up, published in the Harvard Health Publishing. Does that make sense? If you don't get enough, then you are guaranteeing disease, because when you're getting these micronutrients, real quick, they go into your cells and they buffer your cells as armor. If you don't get enough, your cell, because something's always trying to bombard your cells, always. These micronutrients are the armor as boosts your immune system, helps to push away all of the things that are trying to get you. So you see a person that is doing very well with their health and they're flooding their body with these produce. Now, this is the reality. When I heard it, I didn't believe it, is that we need 9 to 13 servings of raw fruits and vegetables a day. I almost fell off my chair because I'm a nutritionist. I eat really well. And I'm like, I don't get 9 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. And that doesn't even seem really possible to me. So and I'm gonna tell you why it's 9 to 13 opposed to the 5 a day that it used to be. It used to be 5 a day, but as I said to you, that the soil and the food that we get, it doesn't have the nutrients in it. So to compensate from what is missing, it used to be 5 a day. Now we're at 9 to 13, 9 to 13 servings a day. So 4 years ago, I was actually introduced to taking my plant powders in a capsule. And I initially thought it was, I'm being honest, a gimmick, ridiculous, right? I'm like, I take multivitamins, I eat enough fruits and vegetables, just, I don't want to hear about it. But then I looked at the research, I started trying them myself, and that is the one simple change that I realized when I shared it with my clients, it made such a difference in their lives. Because before, you remember, I was trying to say to them, change all of your dietary habits, and that's hard. Like, don't eat this, don't eat that. But then when I switched to, let's start with flooding your body with micronutrients first, get that in, and let's see where we go from there. So what I want y'all to do is hear from other people who are flooding their bodies with the raw fruits and vegetables daily in a capsule or in a chewable form, what they've experienced. And to be clear, it is not a multivitamin. It's in a capsule, so you might think, oh, it's a multivitamin. It's actually the whole fruit with the pit, the peel, the seeds, the core. If you don't know, so much of the nutrition is in the peel. You don't eat orange peels. So so much of it is in the whole fruit. So what happens is all of the fruit, non-GMO, is put into a big grinder. The water is taken out, but not heated high, and it's turned into a very, very powerful, concentrated powder, and it's encapsulated. And that is what I take every single day, and that is what I give to my daughter and my family. So I'm going to share with you a little bit later the research, so you can say, what can I expect, right? It's backed by research, it's backed by science, by taking them. But let's hear from some others who are taking the plant powders and their experience. Everybody's experience is their own. So you may hear some stories, but just know that the body knows what to do with the nutrition, and it does what it needs to do. It fills in the gaps with what is missing. So, Diane, are you there? Diane Johnson, are you around? Where's Diane? All right, we're gonna come back because I don't see Diane. Let's start with Alessandro. Alessandro is on the other side of the country, and I'm going to, yeah, there you are. Thank you so much for agreeing to share. And so you've been taking the plant powders. Tell us how long, your story, and all of that, and we'll listen. Go for it.
Sure. Well, thank you. I'm Alessandro Sanford. I live in Kansas City with my wife and 3 teenage children. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I'm a former college athlete, so I've always been, relatively active and never super out of shape, and generally ate, better than the average person, I would say. But from a young age, what I really noticed was a pattern that carried into my adulthood was I would get sick twice a year when the seasons change from the spring, or from the winter to spring. And then from the fall to the winter, it was just like clockwork. I would get sick and I'd be down with a cold for a couple of days. And it continued into my adulthood. I had bad seasonal allergies, like where your nose is dripping like a faucet. And I hated that feeling, hated that feeling. But I just thought, my dad handed it down to me. What am I going to do, right? You got allergies. Well, okay, great. Thanks, Dad. So, the worst thing was, so those are the kind of recurring things that happen in my life. And then when I got to my early 30s, I had a bout with the shingles, and it was horrible. I have a good pain tolerance, and this was excruciating. It's like burning and pain and itching all wrapped up into one. And I remember going to the doctor. We got a 10-day prescription, and it cost us $350, and we did not have $350. But I just had to break down and do it. And so I went through that cycle and got rid of those shingles. Now, my wife, Rihanna, had been taking the plant powders for a while at that point. And the next year, I got the shingles virus again. And so these rashes start popping up, and I know exactly what they are. And so started taking these plant powders at that point because I'm a little hard-headed, and she had been experiencing some results with them, and probably partially financial reasons, probably partially because I'm a guy, and I don't need all that stuff, right? So started taking the plant powders. Yeah, right? So I started taking the plant powders and got rid of the shingles very quickly. And every year now, so I've been taking them ever since. And this is 4 years now? And so every year now they'll try to pop back up. The shingles virus will pop up. I'll see a couple of bumps here and there. And then they'll go away. I don't experience any of the bad results with that. So that's the most immediate one, the one that I'm very thankful for. Allergies, I don't even realize I have seasonal allergies, except for, every now and then I'll get a little bit of a scratch in the back of my throat, and I'm like, okay, there's the allergies. And I just forget, like, it used to be a part of my life. Now it's like, I don't even realize that I have them. And my immune system is much stronger now that I've been taking plant powders, and I don't get sick twice a year like I used to. I have no fear of going into work when people are sick. People are always like, oh, you're going to get sick. You're going to get sick. I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm fine. Let's shake hands. I'm good. So, I definitely, my quality of life has improved. I eat a lot better than I used to. I'm probably primarily on a vegetarian diet, not by design, but I just like to get plants in me. I've experienced a lot of great results. My daughter, who has severe special needs, used to be in the hospital multiple times a year, and we've been 2 years now since we've been in the hospital with her. And so our family has experienced some great results. And we just hope that these results continue. We just keep putting the right stuff in our bodies and let our bodies respond appropriately. And we hope to, maybe share this with other people and other families to get the same kind of results that we've got.
Thank you so much and I love it, because the thing about it is men are a little bit challenging. Other people that have men in their lives, I'm like, it's like pulling them kicking and screaming, and then it's like they see these results. So thank you so much for sharing your story. We're going to put you back on mute. Thank you so much. And then Diane, are you somewhere? I know you're somewhere now because I heard you there.
I'm here.
Okay. So Diane, I don't see you, but you said you're there.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Diane, share your story, and you have a hubby that has a story too. So if you could share your story, that would be great. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, my name's Diane Johnson. I have been in the Juice Plus family for 3 years, and I've been a partner for 9 months. But 3 years ago, Robin introduced us to Juice Plus. And unlike Rihanna's husband, my husband didn't have a choice.
Uh-oh.
I would just say, here, take it.
Hold
Am
on,
I
Diane.
frozen?
Yeah, I think you're cutting in and out.
Frozen.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on,
All
Diane.
right.
Just hold on.
Wait, should I turn this way? Can you hear me better?
I can't even see you at all, but give me, oh, there you are. Do me this. Can you see my messages? Can you see your phone at all? Okay. Let me come back.
I'm looking at myself.
Okay, let me do this, Diane. I'm gonna come right back to you. I'm gonna have Bernetta come on, and I'm gonna come back to you. Is that okay? I know, it's technical difficulty.
Should I get my tablet? Maybe it's my phone. Should I get a tablet?
No, go ahead. We can see you. Keep going. Hopefully it'll work out. Go ahead.
No, go ahead to Renetta. I'll set up somewhere else.
Okay.
Okay.
So Bernetta, are you there? Go. Dr. Bernetta?
I'm here.
Okay. I can't find my own self, but that's fine. Dr. Bernetta, share your story.
Hit gallery view, and then you can see everybody, Robin. Up in the right hand corner. Hit gallery view.
I got it. Got it. Okay, go for it, Bernetta. Go for it.
So thanks, Robin, and hi, everybody. And I think I see one of my friends on here. Joyce, is that you? Do I see Joyce Gilmer on here? I thought I saw Joyce. So I'm the vegan in the group. I've been vegan now for several years. And actually, Robin and I met. I'm an educator, and so Robin and I met at our annual health fair at about 3 or 4 years ago now. And she had this wonderful banner with all these fruits and vegetables, and I really am probably the best eater I know. I'm like, oh my gosh! And of course, being vegan, I'm really hard on the veggies. And so even at that meeting where we met, she was telling me about these wonderful, capsules and gummies that could get you all your little veggies, right there in your hand. And I was like, girl, please. I do not believe you. But in any case, fast forward a couple of years, doing the best I can, spending a lot of money to get my vegetables and nutrition in. And long about October, year before last, my doctor said to me, Bernetta, your blood cell count is dropping and it's getting dangerously low, and we need you to do something to build it back up. And of course, I've been doing everything I could, including purchasing a very expensive green powder that's supposed to help, get all your vegetables in. And I said, oh my gosh, doc, I don't even eat anything but fruits and vegetables. You got to help me. Because I said, what do I need to do? And he said, you've got to get more. And this was when I first heard the 9 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables. I'd never heard that. I'm an educator. I hadn't heard that. And so with that, I really got scared. And so I scrambled to get to Robin. I said, girl, I need to try those plant powders and capsules and gummies. And I couldn't wait to get my order. And I jumped in. And to be honest, you all, within 30 days, I saw a change in my white blood cell count. I went from a 3.6, and those of you that know medicine, you'll know, to a 4.1 in 30 days. And so as soon as I saw that it was working in my blood, I was sold, and I've been on it ever since. And my blood count is wonderful. And additionally, I've been able in this year to come off of a medication that I've been told I would have to take for the rest of my life. So, yay, Juice Plus.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I muted you. Sorry. Thank you, Dr. Bernetta. And we're going to have Alma. Diane, we're going to come to you, and I know Maria's there. So, and I am watching the clock because I told people we would be 30 minutes. So I'm looking at the clock to make sure we're done by 6:30 out of respect, because I'm like a crazy person when it comes to time. So Ms. Alma, are you there?
Yes, I'm right here.
Okay. Alma, share. Hi.
Yes, I'm ready. So I was pretty healthy, growing up, and then suddenly about maybe now 10 years, I started feeling sick. I came on with neuropathy. And then from there, I went and I was pre-diabetic. I had fibromyalgia. I had arthritis, pain all over my body because I had so much inflammation. I was anemic. I was low in my vitamin D. Moving fast forward, for 8 years, I suffered all those 8 years. I was able to keep my job, but I struggled. Then I met Robin at one of our health fairs. Oh, let me back up. Before that, I started seeing a holistic doctor and told me what I had to do. So I changed my diet. I was feeling better. I met Robin 2 years ago, and same thing at a health fair. I'm a lunch lady. And I sat in front of her. I saw these posters, fruits and vegetables, and I knew I had to get fruits and vegetables in my body. I just didn't know how to get it because it's like 9 to 13 servings is really hard to get in a day. So I sat in front of her, we talked, and I heard her story, she heard my story, went home, I was thinking about it, never forgot about her. She called me maybe 2 weeks later, and she said, well, what do you think about it? And at first I was iffy about it, but I said, okay, let's do this. So I hosted a party, and I had invited about 15 people came over my house. By then I was already on taking my plant powders. So I shared my story. What I felt right away is that I wasn't constipated anymore. I was going to the restroom so much, and I just felt like my inflammation had lowered. I just felt great within the 2 weeks. And as time went by, more and more, I just felt like great. And my family, my kids were like, "What the heck?" So my whole family, they all take them, and they had seen a change in their health. Like my husband, he doesn't take any more blood pressure medication. I mean, everybody, like even with the constipation, it seemed like everybody in my house had constipation. It's changed my life because I was suicidal for those 8 years. It was terrible. I think out of all those diseases I have, I only have thyroid, which is hyperthyroidism, and it's something I'm working right now with my holistic doctor. But I don't know how many I named, but I named a lot. And no more medication. I was on Cymbalta, Tramadol, all kinds of different narcotics. You know, I was seeing a family doctor, a neurologist, a rheumatologist. I don't see any of them anymore, none of them. So I save a lot of money with all those medication gone and the doctors. And just by making one simple change, the plant powders, and also taking away gluten and dairy and sugar and processed food. It was really hard at the beginning, but feeling good. And, you know, having my life back, going hiking every day like I like to. I plant three trees the other day. I was like, wow, I can do this.
Awesome.
Yeah, so, and I got my family back and my friends.
Thank you, Alma, for sharing that. Thank you. I don't even know if I knew about the high blood pressure with our, maybe I did. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna put you on mute, and then we're gonna go back to Diane, and then Maria, I know you're in the background. I'm looking at the time, you guys. I know these are wonderful stories. So let me unmute Diane.
Robin.
Huh? Here you are. Oh, whoop. Let me, Diane, unmute yourself. Uh-oh. Diane, let's unmute you. Okay, Diane, can you unmute yourself? Can I unmute you? Okay. Diane, are you unmuted? I don't know why we're having problems with Diane, and might be me. Well, Diane, we gonna save you for last. Diane, are you there, Diane?
I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go for it. We can hear you.
You know, I think it's my phone.
We can hear you. Go for it.
All right. Anyway, I'm going to make this really, really brief because I know that we're running out of time. But to make a long story shorter, we started the plant powders, and it's been about 4 years. When Alma said 4 years ago, it's been about 4 years. It was a critical time because my husband has COPD and asthma severely. He had it very severely, to the point where we were considering an early retirement for him. And so our one simple change was introducing the plant powders to our diet. And basically I just said, here, take these. And he just started taking them. I started taking them. And we noticed within about 15 months that he was not using the nebulizer near as much. He was using the nebulizer continuously all day, but he noticed that he would be able to go hours and hours without it. And I'm not talking the rescue inhaler, we're talking the plug-in one. So we had a conversation about it maybe within the 18th month, and we both agreed that the only change we had made was adding the plant powders. In the meantime, we also introduced the plant powders to my mother-in-law, who was on a multitude of anti-diabetic medications. And within 6 months of introducing the plant powders to her on a consistent basis and with diet change, they were able to reduce her medication by 3. And they're still considering reducing, and she'll be coming up on her 2nd year with the plant powders. I didn't have a story. I wanted a story. My story was the most unexpected. I have congestive heart failure. I'm a CHF patient. So CHF patient, high blood pressure and cholesterol is a really, really, really big deal. For anyone it is, but especially because that's a high risk group. And I was struggling with just getting it into a normal range. And I kept going back to my doctor, and they kept increasing the medication until December this past year. I was dreading another appointment, but now at that time I found that my cholesterol were in normal range. My doctor was so excited. She called me personally, over the moon excited. And I called Robin because I was over the moon excited. So I just know the plant powders, only what I've seen in my family. And we have 5 children and 13 grandchildren, and they're all plant powder babies.
Thank you so much. And I love that you call me when you notice things, like literally. I feel like everybody should call me. I love good news, right? Because there's so much bad news out there. So when you have good news, call me. Thank you, Diane. And our last but not least, Maria, where are you? Maria, are you there? Maria. I can't find her. There you are. Okay. Hi. Awesome. Hi. You're last but not least. Okay. So go for it. Share your journey.
So our journey started with my mom recommending the fruits and vegetables to me because she saw a change in her life. But the reason why she recommended it to me was for my little guy. He was really struggling with eczema on his legs and his arms and on his belly. And, we cut out dairy and all types of things that we thought were causing the inflammation. But when we introduced the fruits and vegetables, in time, we noticed that he was able to play on the grass again and just do, fun little kid things that he had to avoid before because of me worrying about him getting a flare-up. So they really helped reduce the inflammation in his body that caused the eczema. And then I started to use fruits and vegetables as well, and the whole family now uses it. And I wanted to say the best I feel, honestly, is when I'm shredding with you, Robin. Being a hairstylist and having a couple accidents, I do have a lot of neck pain, back pain, and honestly, the complete shakes, whatever's in that powder, it helps reduce the inflammation, and I feel my best when I do incorporate that in my diet. And so I'll usually split it with my little guy, so he has some of that and then I have some of it. And I'm sure that's also probably contributed to him with his skin being softer and not having these giant welts on his body. So yeah, it's been, I don't know how many years now has it been? No. Maybe 4 years or so. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Woo! Goodness gracious. Thank you so much. I'm gonna put you back on mute. And we're coming to the end, y'all. I know I'm like this crazy person, like looking at the clock. This is what I want to tell you. There's a couple things I want to tell you. You would think that we're recommending something wild and magical. It's just that our bodies are so deficient from the food that we eat that when we're taking these 30 raw fruits and vegetables in these capsules or chewables, our cells are just responding. There's no joke here. We're not making this up. This is what happens with the power of food. So my thing is, if this made sense to you, contact the person that invited you here and figure out how you can get these plant powders into your body. It's backed by science. It's backed by research. If you give me one little second, I'm going to tell you this because they told you what happened in their body. And I'm going to go through this really quickly because I think this is very powerful. But these are the 11 things that you can expect in your body by taking these plant powders. So within 7 days, your antioxidants in your blood is going to go up. Within those same 7 days, the free radicals in your body are going to go down. In 80 days, your DNA will be 66 less damaged. Your cardiovascular improvement in circulation in 28 days. This is through science, through blood work. Your immune system is going up. The anti-inflammatory response throughout your entire body. Healthier gums, that's me. My teeth don't bleed, my gums don't bleed. 39% increase in microcirculation of your skin. At pregnancy, lower risk of preeclampsia and toxemia. vast benefits, and we heard about this with insulin resistance, decrease in belly fat, and then your lung power. It helps to reduce and lower oxidized cholesterol. We didn't make this up. This is through science. It's documented. It's studied over 25 years. So what I say to you is, as a nutritionist, I tell you no lies. I wouldn't say this if I didn't believe it, if I didn't see it. This is what I know to be the one simple change that is helping people to take healthy back. Thank you all for being here. Again, contact the person that invited you here so they can tell you more. You can get them into your life. And the thing I want you to know, the thing that is absolutely awesome is if you have a child, they will get the plant powders for free, your child. So moms, parents, grandparents, children, the kids will get them for free. That is absolutely the truth. So there you go. Thank you. Eat well, think well, be well, stay blessed. This is Robin. Talk to you later. All right, y'all. Take care.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
Thank
all
you.
for your